Okay, hello everyone. It's Renee out here back again. Last night I was about to fall asleep, and then I came across a really interesting article online, and it's going to share my screen here to share what I'm going to be talking about today. But again, before we get started, as always, fountain of life is not a cure for any disease or ailment. It's simply nature's most powerful plant antioxidant. So let's get started here. This was an article that I came across last night just before falling to sleep. And after reading it, I literally couldn't sleep for a few hours, just started doing a lot more digging around and want to share some of my findings with you guys today. Again, just all sort of third-party research online. So the title of the news article I saw last night was basically that men's blood contains greater concentrations of enzyme that helps COVID-19 infect cells. So not so good news for men, right? But I actually had to go and actually print this out so I can make sure I can reach you guys the important parts here. So the first part here is that evidence from a large study of several thousand patients show that men have a higher concentration of this angiotensin converting enzyme 2, ACE-2, in their blood than women. And here's the key thing. Since ACE-2 enables the coronavirus to infect healthy cells, this may help to explain why men are more vulnerable to COVID-19 than women. So again, ACE-2 is something that was talked about in one of by our regulatory affairs, Mr. David O, because this is again more research that we have been looking at. And so when I saw the word ACE-2 again on this news article, it really popped into definitely in my mind. And so, in other words, and just to kind of go down here. So this paragraph right here, sorry, the one below. Professor Vore said ACE-2 is a receptor on the surface of cells, and it binds to the coronavirus and allows it to enter and infect healthy cells after it's been modified by another protein on the surface of the cell called TMPRSS2. So in other words, high levels of ACE-2 are present in the lungs, and therefore is thought to play a crucial role in the progression of lung disorders related to COVID-19. So the key thing here is this, though, is that ACE-2 is basically a receptor on the surface of the cells, and it binds to the coronavirus and allows it to enter and infect healthy cells. I was like, okay, yeah. So then that was just sort of more of just confirming the recent discussion on ACE-2. And in summary, just go down here, it says here that in the company editorial, Professor Gavin Audit from the University of Alberta, Canada, Professor Mark, I guess it's Pfeffer from Brigham and Women's Hospital, Harvard Medical School, USA, writes, when faced with a rapidly expanding COVID-19 pandemic, and in the essence of definitive data, the results of Sama et al. Obtained in heart failure patients in the pre-COVID-19 period offer supporting evidence to continue ACE inhibitors, or ARBs, in patients at risk for SARS-CoV-2 infection. However, this field is moving so rapidly that we now have 2 observational studies of ARB ACE inhibitors used in hospitalized COVID-19 patients, showing no augmented risk to COVID-19 patients and even suggesting possible benefit. So in other words, by having these ACE inhibitors, it's going to basically essentially lower the ACE-2 essentially, because it can basically block the conversion. And so, but again, overall, the key thing to understand in this article is that this ACE-2 is essentially the receptor on the cells, and it binds to the coronavirus, again, allowing it to enter and to infect healthy cells. So moving along here to how can basically try to, again, deal with this ACE-2, which is the receptors on the cells. This is actually an article talking about, this is from the US National Library of Medicine. So we know that ACE-2 is not good, and that ACE inhibitors are what you want to have, because you can see here that when they applied more of these ACE inhibitors, okay, that it actually lowered the amount of ACE-2 in the plasma of these people. So again, by having more ACE inhibitors, you essentially can lower the ACE-2. That's in summary what this article is saying. In this article here, it's saying how SDG, which is the lignin, which is a phytoestrogen from the flaxseed, as an alternative to ACE inhibitors in the treatment of hypertension, which, if you're not sure what hypertension is, again, this is just a science word. It basically is just high blood pressure, essentially, okay? So going back to here, though, So again, so SDG, which is the lignin from the flaxseed, is a phytoestrogen. So so phytoestrogen just means plant estrogen in the science terms called phytoestrogen. And SDG is a potent and long-acting hypotensive agent to lower again blood pressure. But the key word is here, plant phytoestrogens have inhibitory effects on this angiotensin converting enzyme. So again, the ACE, you want to have these ACE inhibitors because it stops the conversion of ACE-2. Okay, so in short, the key word here is to understand that you want to have more of these phytoestrogens because it has these inhibitory effects or the blocking or the stopping on ACE, which creates more, again, ACE-2, right? So again, in the previous article, the more inhibitors you have of ACE, right, the less ACE-2 you will see. Essentially, again, so I'm going to summarize that here again. You can see here that supporting evidence to continue more of these ACE inhibitors because it suggested even lower risk and even more benefit to COVID-19 because again, you can see here that the ACE-2 was essentially lowered when you have more of these ACE inhibitors, right? So, because I guess the funny thing is before, some people had thought it was the other way around again, but you can see here that we found no evidence that ACE inhibitors were linked to an increase in ACE-2. In fact, with more ACE inhibitors, they saw lower concentrations of ACE-2 in the end. So again, we want to have more of these ACE inhibitors, which again come from these plant estrogens called phytoestrogens. So looking again at what a lignin is on Wikipedia, it's simply when as part of a human diet, so if you're able to eat this stuff, some plant lignans are metabolized by the intestinal bacteria, your gut bacteria, to human lignans, which are enterodiol, enterlactone. And lignans can be metabolized to mammalian lignans or human lignans, are the following. There's this penoresinol, laurisinol, secosaurisinol, matarisinol, hydroxymatarisinol, syringasinol, and sesame, right? But in short, lignans are one of the major classes of phytoestrogens. Again, phytoestrogens, going back to this article here, have inhibitory effects to ACE, and we know that having more ACE inhibitors results in lower ACE-2, again, which is what allows for the virus to enter into the body, right, into the cells. So now, what's really interesting here is that people don't realize that with Fountain of Life, there's actually 7 different lignans working together in this amazing, patented extract that we have. And it's going to show you what that is. And so actually, this is actually me when I was actually asking to essentially David O, what were the main lignans that were found in, of course, 7-HMR. And here's a list. And I want you to see that this is so amazing looking at the Wikipedia one. So they're talking about, what you want to have here. So laurisinol, again, laurisinol is in FOL. The secosaurisinol is also in FOL. The matarisinol is also in FOL. The hydroxymatarisinol is also in FOL. And we also have a few others that aren't listed here. But essentially, it's amazing because Fountain of Life has all these amazing lignans. And again, these lignans are the major classes of phytoestrogens. And again, phytoestrogens they have amazing inhibitory effects on ACE. And again, the more ACE inhibitors that you have, the lower concentrations of ACE-2 you'll have in your body. And again, we want to have less ACE-2 because again, ACE-2 is a receptor on the surface of a cell. And it binds to the coronavirus to allow it to enter to affect more healthy cells. So in short, I found this just truly amazing. We've had some great testimonials, But again, as always, it is a natural health product. Fountain of Life is not a cure for any disease or ailment. It's simply nature's most powerful plant antioxidant, also known as a phytoestrogen. And I hope that you found this YouTube video as exciting as I have. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel under Renee Liao. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. My next video I'll be doing is going to be talking about, inflammation with a lot of different cancers and other diseases. So stay tuned for that video. Besides that, wishing you a wonderful day. Stay safe. Definitely get on the Fountain of Life, and talk to you soon. Bye for now.